This is the plaintiff, Susan Romard. She says she agreed to rent an apartment from the defendant, gave him a deposit, and was all set to move in. Problem is, the defendant didn't own the apartment and had no right to rent it or take her hard-earned money. The defendant pretended to be someone he wasn't, and she's here to set the record straight and get the $4,434 she's owed. This is the defendant, Patrick Quick. He says he and the plaintiff entered into a contract to rent the apartment, and he made it clear she would be responsible for supplying her own heat. He also made it clear the deposit she was giving him would be non-refundable. A few weeks later, she called him and said she didn't want the place after all, and expected him to take a loss and refund her money. Well, he doesn't know what planet the plaintiff's from, but she must be a little loopy if she thinks he's going to lose money on her inability to make a decision. He's accused of pretending to be someone he's not. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,500 for defamation of character.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant swindled her into believing that he owned the apartment, and now she says that she gave him rent money that she wants back. But he says he had an ironclad deal with a list of terms that bind her. It's the case of Swindler's List.
Susan Romard,
yes.
You are suing Patrick Quick for $4,434 for criminal impersonation and fraud, pain and suffering, a deposit that you want returned. You are counterclaiming her $1,500 for defamation of character. Tell me what's going on.
Thank you, Your Honor. I went to view an apartment that Mr. Quick had on Craigslist at the beginning of September. I needed to move out of the apartment I was in for the last 4 years because my landlord sold the house. I had to be out by July 31st, and I saw the apartment and went to see it with a friend. I have a witness statement. She couldn't be here today. And looked around at the apartment, and then Mr. Quick stated that I may know his relatives because they're local. And when he mentioned who they were, I said, not only I know them, I've known them my whole life. I just didn't happen to know him. I know his mother very well, his grandmother. I actually used to work for his grandmother's sister for years and raised his cousin.
What were the odds?
Yeah, but I didn't know him. And I haven't seen his mom in about 30 years. So we chatted a bit, and one of my big concerns was moving into a place that I didn't know the homeowner. So he had somebody else, he told me he had somebody else to rent the place. The guy had the money and everything, but he didn't know him, and he had a 4-year-old daughter, so he didn't want a man that he didn't know there. So he wanted $1,500 down. It was $750 for the apartment security, but I really wasn't looking to move until August 1st. So I didn't have...
And when were you looking at the apartment?
It was July 10th.
Okay.
Because usually when people post something online, it's for the next month. The tenant just moved out. So, but he said that he was in a fix because he hadn't been working, and so he needed somebody to move in right away. I said, fine, we'll work that out, but I don't have $1,500. He said that he needed to put in a floor before I could move in. So the next night I had borrowed some money from a friend, which I have the paperwork for. I went there the next night. We signed a lease, at which point
Do you have the lease?
Yes, I do. On the 11th, and he stated on there that the apartment would be ready on...
Is the lease?
That's the lease.
Who wrote it?
He wrote it.
Okay, Susan Romard is renting apartment as of 7/11 on a 6-month lease. If tenant agrees to stay after 6 months, rent will continue on a month-to-month basis. Was this a basement?
No, it was not a basement.
Okay.
I actually do have a picture from Zillow of the actual house.
And it's what? It's a room in the house, or a room with a kitchenette in the house? What is it?
It's the side of a house.
Right,
It's
but
the
do you have
house.
your own kitchen, or don't you?
There's a 5-foot countertop with a sink. It stated that it only had a college-sized refrigerator, and I said I needed a real refrigerator because I have medication that needs to be refrigerated. But he actually doesn't even own the house.
Ending lease before 6 months results in non-refunding of security. Tenant deposited $850 on 7/11, and apartment will be ready for move-in by 7/13. Remaining deposit of $650 will be paid before 8/1. So did you move in on 7/13?
No, because the floor wasn't done, the apartment wasn't ready, and he actually had stated that he had a truck and that he would take the truck and he would come, and if I had everything boxed and ready to go, he would come and he would move everything out of my apartment. He would put it in, because I'm on disability, so I can't do heavy lifting. He said, I'll do that for you, then you don't have to pay anybody. And we were set for me to move in on July 14th. July 14th, when I called him, he didn't answer the phone. He didn't call me back. And he never called me back. And on Tuesday, when I called him, he said that his girlfriend had his phone and he never got the message. And he didn't get paid on Friday, so he didn't do the floor, but it would be ready on the following Sunday.
Which would now be when?
The 20th.
Okay, so go on.
So when I called him on Saturday, the 20th, I asked him if the floor was done, and he said no. And he said that the reason it wasn't done was because that he was waiting for me to call him to tell him when I was moving in. And I said, no. I said, I asked you 3 separate times. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have it done. You're going to call me, correct? 3 times I reiterated. 3 times you said yes. You confirmed. So at that point I said, listen, I have to move in 11 days now. I would just want my money back. So I told him I don't have a place to go. I need that money back. And he said, well, you can't have the money back because I used it to pay my mortgage.
Okay, let me hear your version. What's going on?
On the 11th, I had a decision to make, the other guy or her. She begged me, because we knew each other, she begged me to let her move in.
So you picked her, and then you were supposed to have the place ready by July 13th. What happened?
Okay, so if the place isn't ready on the exact day that the tenant's supposed to move in, can the tenant break the lease?
It's her right.
It's her right, but what if it's like one day, just one day?
She has the right, but I don't know where she'd go.
One day, does she have the right?
Well, you got to go by the contract. If it was the other way around, then the other guy would have the right.
It's pretty harsh going inside the courtroom.
I was supposed to have the place ready with paint, the locks, and cleaning up the apartment. As far as the carpet goes, she still had a remaining deposit to pay, which she said that she will pay on the 23rd when she gets her Social Security check.
Okay, you need to stop. That is not what your agreement says here. Your agreement here says very clearly she paid $850 on 7/11. Apartment will be ready for move-in on 7/13, and remaining deposit will be paid on 8/1. Okay?
The remaining before 8/1. It says before 8/1.
It doesn't say 7/23. It doesn't say that you don't have to have the apartment ready. Why wasn't the apartment ready? Answer the question I'm asking. Why wasn't the apartment ready on 7/13?
The apartment was ready. Keys, paint, cleaned. It was ready.
According to her, there was more that you had to do. What is that?
The flooring. It had tile floors. The apartment was clean, ready to go.
And what is it, according to you, hadn't been done on the 13th?
The floor was like a linoleum that was all ripped up. It was all ripped up, and he told me he had to put a new floor in. That's why he needed the $850 right away. And he stated that he had to do that. And I even said,
was the linoleum ripped up and was tile?
It has tiles, linoleum tiles. Is it ripped up?
Did you change a floor? Yes or no?
No.
Did you ever agree with her that you would change the floors?
No.
The other thing, Your Honor, is he never gave me a key. So how could I move in?
How are you going to move in if you don't give him the rest of the money? I mean, what he's saying is you were supposed to give the rest of the money on a certain date and you didn't.
The 23rd.
Yeah, but why isn't that in your lease? If you say that that's what she had to do, the opposite. But it's the opposite of what it says. Will we pay before 8/1? The 23rd is not before 8/1. That's 7-8 days before 8/1. Why would that be?
Right, that's before 8/1.
Oh yeah, so it's January, but she's not. See, for you to keep that money, you'd have to prove to me she's in breach. And you can't prove to me she's in breach. But there was something else that she said, that this isn't even your place. Whose place is this?
It's a family friend. He's my landlord.
Friend?
Yes, we've rented the house for 20 years.
Do you have the right to sublet?
My grandfather was in control after 15 years.
Do you have the right to sublet that place?
Legally, I don't know. It's my name isn't on the mortgage.
Okay. Does the landlord
I never said I'm her landlord.
Do you have an off button? Press it right now and listen to my question before you start barking. Listen. I need you to listen to the question because you don't even know what I'm asking you because you keep... Listen. You are leasing it from a person, right?
Yes.
And that person is a family friend.
Yes.
Does that person know you are subletting?
Yes.
Does that person give you the right to sublet?
Yes.
Is that in your lease?
No.
Can you prove that you have a right to sublet a place? Because you don't own it. So can you prove that you have a right to sublet a place?
I don't have paperwork stating that, no.
All right. Can you prove to me that she was in default because she was supposed to pay at a specific date before 8/1/13?
On 7/21, she called me and said, I can't take the apartment because it doesn't have heat. My doctors advised me not to take the apartment because it doesn't have heat.
Did the apartment have heat?
It says in the contract, supply your own heat, space heaters, oil, whatever.
What contract do you have? All utilities included except heat doesn't mean that there's no heat to be provided. That tells me I just got to pay for the heat.
Right, I'm not providing the heat.
Oh, there's no heat at all? Well, then I can answer the question about whether you can sublet it. The answer would be a big fat no, because the state of New York does not allow you to sublet apartments to people without heat. Did it have hot water?
I don't know. It didn't have faucets. He was putting them in.
How much money did you put down?
$850.
Why are you suing for $4,434?
Because I'm also suing him for criminal impersonation because he impersonated to me that he was the owner of the house. And to be honest with you, Your Honor, I originally had that amount at $850. But when they called me last night and they told me that he was suing me for slander, you've got a counterclaim.
Oh, wonder of all wonders. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Counterclaim $1,500 for defamation of character. Explain that.
She called my landlord. She went to the village.
She called your landlord.
Family, called my family.
Why is that a problem?
Messages to my family.
Hold on. Why is that a problem that she called your landlord?
It's not a problem. But
then why are you counting that as part of your defamation case if it's not a problem?
Part of it is my family. She's called my family. She sent messages to my family.
And told them what?
That I stole her money. I'm a piece of garbage. Okay.
I mean, she's mad because you won't return her deposit. She doesn't understand why you won't return her deposit.
She called me on July 21st and said, I'm not taking your apartment because it doesn't have heat. Before we could even make it to the 23rd. There were space heaters in there that I told her I would leave her too. So they were in there, and I told her I would leave her.
Return the lady's $850. Verdicts for the plaintiff, $850. That's my judgment.
Your Honor.
So this arrangement does not work out very well for the defendant who has to return the plaintiff's money. So step in here. What's your comment coming out after
Me, it's black and white. She didn't take it because it didn't have heat. In the contract, it says I'm not supplying heat. Black and white to me.
And the judge says the state of New York doesn't allow you to rent an apartment without heat.
I guess I got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, I think you might. It sounds like kind of a shady operation all the way around. The arrangement.
She begged me.
The arrangement between you and the real owner and the real landlord.
Nothing shady about it. My family's had the house for 20 years.
Doing this
from
for
the
a
guy.
long time.
20 years we've had the house.
First time you've ever had a problem like this?
First time.
All right, right down this way. All right, so step on in here. The plaintiff wins the case. You're shaking your head over there like what? What?
It was an illegal apartment. His landlord didn't even know he was renting it. When I called, that's why he was mad. I called the landlord. He didn't even know
it was an illegal apartment?
No. He didn't even know there was an apartment in it. The landlord said, there's no apartment in there. This man has got major character defects, major. And I never begged him. His mother called me. His family called me.
Okay. Harvey?
There's something that every state has, which is called a warranty of habitability, which is implied in a contract, which means it has to be a safe place to live and habitable. The heat is a critical part of a contract. The tenant can't even waive the right to heat. A landlord has a duty to supply heat, period.